Whoa! Hey guys, it is Kiki here. Welcome welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I hope you subscribe. Once you subscribe, you join the pride. We're all lions and lioness here, embracing our manes. So once you subscribe, you join the pride. In this video today, as you know, it is Halloween month. Got my nails done. Black French tips. Listen, they fierce. It's Halloween month, one of my favorite seasons of the year. I'm in the spirit, but if you know me, I love scary movies. I love scary short films, scary cartoons, scary houses, scary rides, whatever it may be. If it's scary, I like it. I said, you know what? I'm in the mood to watch a scary movie. But you know what? I said, how about we all watch one together? It's Halloween time, it's spooky season, so let's find something on YouTube and watch some scary stuff together. Like the second video I've done like this. If you like it, if you want this to continue past Halloween time, I need you to smash the like button and subscribe. Got my blanket back here, got my jammies on, got my scarf, you know what I'm saying? So yes, let's go ahead and get started. Get you some snacks, get you know, some cereal with some almond milk, and let's sit down and watch some videos. I'm a little nervous. I got all the doors closed, you know what I'm saying? Cause I can't have nobody coming up in here rolling up on me like that. I'm gonna be like okay, let's click on this one. 3 true stories, scary stories animated 6 days ago. Skip. Alright, let's roll. I got the volume up. Turn your volume. You got your snacks?
This happened when I was in 4th or 5th grade. It was just a typical day. My friend's parents were working, so I went over to my friend's house and we played together. It was around 1 p.m. I was packing up to go to the academy when my friend suddenly grabbed my arm. "Can't you just stay with me until my parents come home?" However, I was sure that my mom would scold me if I missed the academy, so I told my friend I'd stop by again afterwards and then left. I was on my way back to my friend's house around 4 p.m., but when I reached his house, there were policemen next to it. I could see some officers and other people around the area. It turned out that there was a married couple living there, and the wife committed suicide while her husband was on his way to work.
Baby, why'd you do that?
While I was walking home with my friend so that we could play at my house, I suddenly got scared. So I asked, "Why did you tell me not to go to the academy earlier?" Then my friend said that he heard a woman's voice through the wall while we were playing at his house earlier. And this is what my friend told me. The woman said,
so, if y'all know me, which none of y'all do, I pause and rewind a lot. So if you don't like any of that, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you to exit the video, just because I don't know. But if you heard that whispering, I tell you, I have been in some very trying situations to where my body has moved faster than what I thought it would move, and my feet took me out of there. That's exactly what I would have done.
For some time, I used to try to experience a past life, but I'd always fall asleep whenever I tried to. One day, I tried to experience my past life. As soon as I woke up in the morning, I fell asleep again. I usually either don't dream or remember my dream after waking up, but this time my dream was so vivid. In my dream, I was walking up the stairs, and there were tons of flowers and grass on both sides. So I kept walking up the stairs, and I was excited. But then a man came down the stairs. He was handsome, but aside from his looks, I felt a little scared of him. I could see that all of his clothes were black and dull. The man walked towards me, so I tried to pass him with my eyes looking down. But then he suddenly said, "You have no past life, and this isn't where you're from," he said
Where I'm
while
from
shoving me. I woke up at that moment, but I still vividly remember the feeling of him pushing me.
Baby, that had to be a dream.
After that, I stopped trying to experience my past life. My brother used to suffer from a serious sleepwalking problem. The problem is gone now, but just 2 years ago, he would wake up every night, knock on the door of his bedroom, and walk alone. That was his creepy habit for a while. One day my parents went on a trip, and my brother and I were home alone. That night, I started to hear a tapping sound on the door while I was sleeping in my bedroom. When I opened my eyes, I noticed that it was coming from outside the door. So I opened it, and my brother was standing in.
My eyes watering. Do y'all see that? Boy. Let me tell you something. If my brother had walked up to the door like that, looking like that, I ain't gonna lie, the first thing I would have thought is like, man, how much weed you smoking? But that right there, that's something different. That's different.
In front of my door. He was looking down at me without blinking an eye, and all of a sudden, he smiled. His skin looked so pale because he was sick at the time. It was horrifying. I ran to my bedside to call my mom, but my brother came into the bedroom, started to slowly turn around in circles, but suddenly
he would have got tackled at that point.
Then he started whispering into the air, "Don't do it. I'm sorry. Sorry. Don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry."
And whoever he talking to, I would have started cussing out immediately. "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." Bah! Just would have hit him like that. And whoever he talking to, because you're not about to take my brother. That's a done deal.
I'm sorry. I was so scared of him that I started to cry. Murmuring for about 10 minutes, he suddenly said, "Shut up, you little brat." And then he fell down right on the spot. My mom still didn't answer the phone.
Mama,
I
where
rushed
you
to my brother's room,
at?
locked the door while crying to myself, and tried to fall asleep. Maybe it was around 3 a.m. I suddenly heard someone trying to open my brother's door, but it sounded like someone's head was banging on the door. Thinking that it was my brother, I held my breath, and then it was quiet. Thank goodness, I'll be safe here until the morning, I thought at first.
Don't go to sleep.
But after about an hour, I needed to go to the toilet so badly. I didn't hear anything outside the door, and my brother seemed to be asleep again. So I took a deep breath, opened the door, and tried.
Right there, I would have found, I'm talking about anything in my room because I'm not leaving. I would have found a cup, a little trash can. I would have found something because I'm not exiting that room.
Tried to get back quickly. My brother, he was crawling around on all fours in the living room. Not on his knees,
Honey.
crawling on the floor.
Honey.
I'm sorry for pausing it so much. That's unnatural. If I would have saw anything like that, what I say earlier? My feet would have took me so far.
He was moving around with both hands and feet on the floor, and his face was buried between his hands. I didn't even scream when I saw that bizarre figure of my brother. He was crawling in the dark living room. There wasn't a single light, and I think that was the most fear I've ever experienced in my life. While I was just shivering without moving an inch, I met his eyes and he looked like a dead man, as if he took some kind of drug. I snapped out of it when I saw his eyes. Then I ran back into the room, locked the door again, cried, and finally fell asleep. The next morning, I went outside and asked my brother about the night before.
He don't remember
but
nothing?
He didn't remember.
Bro, we taking you to the hospital right now to get an evaluation. We taking you to, if that don't check out, we taking you to the church to be prayed upon. No.
Anything. No way. What for? He said he couldn't remember anything at all, no matter how many times I asked him. That was the most frightening experience I've ever had.
Bro, I want something that's gonna like make me look behind my back, even though it's a wall right here. That's what I need. What we looking at? That look like something I done seen. Oh, Llama arts. I really love Llama arts. Ah, they're awesome. Let's do it. Got my back against the wall.
I'm not making this video for attention or sympathy or anything.
He talking to me.
I just want anyone who can help me to do that.
I
My
don't know
name's
how I can
Daniel,
help you.
and this is a story I wish I didn't have to tell. I've been a night owl my entire life. As a teen, I used to stay up way past midnight every night, watching terrifying videos on YouTube. I know now they were nothing compared to the horrors of the real world. Nothing compared to the tragedy my family and I went through. The story I'm gonna tell to you now. My parents, being teachers, had always emphasized the importance of sleeping well to me, and would definitely disapprove of my late night routine. So I knew that if they'd caught me up at that time, I'd be in big trouble. At first, this wasn't a problem, but after I told them about a child predator in our neighborhood that I'd seen in one of my videos, they seemed to grow more and more paranoid, which was obviously understandable. Every night, I'd hear one of them wandering into my room, checking on me, and every night, I'd immediately turn off my light and pretend to be asleep. I never knew for sure if it was my mom or dad coming in, since obviously if I opened my eyes to see, they'd know I was awake.
Yeah, I'm looking tonight.
Mostly, I presumed it was my dad, from the heavy-sounding footsteps, but either way, I found it pretty hypocritical for them to preach to me about being up late when they were awake themselves. Sometimes I wondered if they knew I wasn't sleeping,
Honey,
because often it
open
was
your
only
eyes.
after what seemed like hours before they'd finally leave and go to check on Alfie. That's my little brother, and Lucy, my little sister. I'd have asked them about it, but I thought it would have confirmed any suspicions which they seemed to already have about my staying awake deep into the mornings of the next day. Like I said, I guess they were just paranoid about the child predator. It was stupid for me to presume any of these things, and I'll never forgive myself for it, but I did it all the same. Anyway, one day, Lucy's school, where my parents both work, announced a school trip. It meant they'd be gone at some point next month from Saturday morning to Sunday morning, and it meant that I'd finally get to watch the horror movie my friend had lent me, and my parents had refused to let me watch.
Bro, how old are you?
There was one downside,
You look
though.
like a whole college
I'd be
student.
left to look after Alfie. He, being only 6 years old, my mom was reluctant to leave him in my care alone, but my dad defended me, reminding her that Alfie had been up most of the night after a nightmare, so he'd probably sleep most of the day anyway. Besides, he reassured her, he's 17. He can be given a little responsibility. With a
He's
heavy
17.
heart, my mom agreed. I honestly wish she hadn't. Finally, the morning came for them to head off. It took longer than expected because my sister said some of her favorite toy dolls had been stolen, but eventually my mom persuaded her that they were probably just lost and told me to look for them whilst they were gone. I begrudgingly agreed.
The biggest thing that I don't like is when a parent does not believe their child. Whether it can be anything. My toys were stolen, Ma. No, baby. You probably just misplaced them. Go look around. I done looked around. Or this happened. Oh no, that was just your imagination. Bro, I'm telling you what happened. I cannot stand that. Ooh.
Soon they were ready to go. As they were leaving, my mom gave me a stern word, reminding me to lock the doors, not go to bed too late, and take good care of Alfie. She told me she'd be watching through the security cameras to make sure I was looking after him properly. I told her she really didn't have to worry. Then we said our goodbyes, and they were off. Alfie and I spent most of the day playing outside, but came in after the frisbee landed near a strange man who Alfie said had been in his nightmare. I told him that was ridiculous, because even if he somehow was in his dream...
There we go, disbelieving again. These kids, they be knowing what they talking about.
He wouldn't be able to remember. Anyway, I went by myself to get it.
Honey, he looking
the man was fairly creepy. He had a huge grin, and his eyes staring right at me.
Boo Bear. A frisbee costs $1 at Dollar General. Leave that thing over there and go buy a new one. It is not that serious.
Be permanently forced further open than they were designed to go. His clothes all seemed to have been made from someone 50 years younger, as they struggled to cling to his fully grown body.
Look at his face.
It was cold, but he was wearing a sun hat, a tiny one for children, which barely fit on his head.
Bro, because he stole it.
But didn't know how at the time.
It's the brothers.
If I'd learned anything from the videos I spent my nights watching, I'd have abandoned the frisbee and left. But clearly I didn't, because not wanting to feel like a baby, I approached him. As I got closer to the man,
you don't have
his
nothing to
smile
prove.
disappeared, and he removed the hat and held it behind his back. I began to see his features in greater detail. He looked tired. He was pale and his eyes were bloodshot.
Ew.
Huge gaping bags.
Forehead?
In the entire time it took me to get to him, the man didn't move an inch, other than the odd blink. Not even his eyes shifted. At this stage, I was getting uneasy. I just wanted to get it and leave.
$1
Hey, can I
at
have
Walmart.
my frisbee back, please?
Bro, it's
Thanks.
yours. Why are you
The thought
asking?
of that conversation, if you can even call it a conversation, still makes me shiver. I locked the front door as soon as we got home. We were both a bit shaken, and Alfie looked tired, so I gave him some more food and put him to bed. It took him about 2 hours to fall asleep. He kept complaining that he'd have another nightmare about that man.
Sleep in the room with him.
But he wasn't convinced.
I see him every night.
He whispered to me. Well, if you see him
Cause he
again,
be at your
don't
window.
worry. I'll be here to fight him off. This seemed to settle him down, and soon he was fast asleep.
We ain't doing no ad.
At about 11,
All
it
right,
was time
anime.
to put my film on. I couldn't have my mom knowing that I was watching it, so I did something naive,
I watched that movie.
ignorant, and something I'll always regret. I turned off the security cameras.
Why would you do that?
2 hours straight, my eyes never straying from the screen. Until I replayed the last few seconds of the film. But the sound didn't happen again. It was coming from inside my house. Alfie? He didn't reply, but I could see him under the covers, so I thought he was just asleep. And I
Why
didn't
is the
want to wake
window
him
open?
up. I swear, if I thought anything worse had happened, I'd have checked. You okay? I thought maybe I was just worrying too much, hearing things.
Did
Plus,
you even
late,
see
the
him?
film had been scary. Maybe it was just all in my head.
Bro,
I knew from the sound of his voice it was him. Alfie! Alfie? Usually this much noise.
the window wasn't open when you left. The first time. The window is now open. You did not physically see his face in the bed. This man told you he see that man every single night. The windows are open. He outside. Why is that not connecting? Alfie gone.
would have woken him up. Alfie, what's going on? I
He
knew
ain't there.
something was wrong. It was him. The doll. I couldn't believe it. It had to be some kind of sick prank. It had to be. But it wasn't.
Go run after him.
It was the man I'd spoken to earlier.
He put him in
My
the
brother.
car? Bro, you're murdered
Alfie!
after that. You're
I was
done.
certain they'd be gone before I could reach them. But he didn't set off straight away. He watched as I tried helplessly to do something.
Bro,
I
that
screamed and I
adrenaline.
shouted and I banged on the windows and I tried to open the doors.
That's when you attach to the car.
It was
You
all-
gonna let him drive? This man literally let this dude drive away with his brother. When I tell you adrenaline would have been on 10, I don't care, my hand bleeding, my wrist bleeding, my wrist broke. I don't care what's happening, because I ain't worried about it. I'll feel that out later. My only concern is busting that window in and getting my brother out. This mug just sat there trying to pull on a locked door handle. Sorry, this is me in scary movies, scary films. I love them, but I start getting like I'm in it myself. I gotta calm down.
There was nothing I could do for my brother, my best friend, as he was stolen away from me.
Is he still missing?
It was too late for the police to do anything. It was too late for anybody
Bro,
to do anything.
how?
He was gone, and in time, I'd have to come to accept that.
You have 9 new messages. First message.
Hello? If you're out with Alfie, call me back when you get back in, please. Love you guys. Bye.
End of message. Second message.
Daniel, we've been trying to get a hold of you for hours. Is everything alright? Did you turn the security cameras off?
They'll be fine. The security system probably just glitched out. Hey, Alfie, just call us as soon as you can, okay? You know how Mom worries.
End of message. Third message.
Listen, Daniel,
He is
we're
still
starting
not
to get
doing
really
nothing.
worried now. If you don't pick up, one of us is gonna have to come home to check if everything's okay. Please pick up.
End of message. Fourth
Why you ain't see the messages?
Daniel, are you okay? Daniel! What's happened? Please answer.
I'm starting to get
I
irritated.
couldn't bear to tell them anything. That was 7 years ago. We never found him.
Oh my god.
When I asked my parents if they'd seen anything at all of this man whilst they checked on us during the night, they only looked at me, concerned and confused. What do you mean? They asked.
They look like they
I
struggling.
stare at them in horror. Every night, around 2, you'd come and check on Alfie, Lucy, and me to see if we were sleeping.
Daniel?
They told me.
No,
we
we
didn't.
didn't.
The police wanted security camera footage
It
of
was
the man,
his ass.
but of course, there wasn't any. It automatically deletes any footage older than 24 hours, which meant I'd
What's
been
the point?
mindless enough to stop it recording on the only night we could have seen him. You know, the strange thing is, I don't even know if I want Alfie to be alive. Because if he is, God knows what that monster has done to him. Sorry if I've
Bro,
gone on too long,
he did nothing.
but the guilt's been killing me.
You should be guilty.
I had to get it out somehow. I only tell it as a story because, well, people like stories, and I want as many people to hear this as possible. Alfie, if somehow you're watching, I love you. And I'm so sorry. Please, don't lose hope. And to the man who took you, it's not too late. If you have any heart at all, and even if you don't, please,
Bro, it's been
let
7
my
years.
little
You
brother
think that
come
man
home.
gonna let him go? No.
To everybody else, if someone comes into your bedroom at night, open your eyes. You never
Exactly.
know who it might be. I still stay up late at night. But it's not because I don't want to sleep. It's because I can't. In case anyone sees Alfie, this is the last good photo we took of him. That's it. Stay safe. Thank you.
I ain't got no sympathy for him. I sure don't. He literally sat there and let this man get taken. Absolutely no sympathy. I have none to give you. But yeah, I don't know how long this video been, y'all. Maybe we should do one more. Let's do that. I'm not ready to be done. Okay, this is another one. We gonna make this one a little extended. So let me know how y'all feel about it. I'm enjoying this time. But all of the stories that we watched today, I'll leave the link in the description. The pictures in the mountain
This
cabin.
happened to my older brother. When he was a college student, he joined a mountain climbing club. One day, he went climbing the high mountains located in South Korea with 3 of his club members. The mountain was so high up that they couldn't climb all the way up in just a day. So they decided to stop by one of the mountain cabins in the mountainside and take a rest. It was a 2-story cabin, and unfortunately, the electricity was disconnected that day. Well, you know, people usually don't go to sleep early on days like that. So my brother and his friends drank a lot of alcohol, turned on a flashlight, and accidentally lit it up towards the wall. On the wall, there were framed pictures of the
Where my bag at? This my purse. Alright, we out the door.
first, second, and other mountain guards. Everyone was giggling because of the face in one of the pictures. Then they fell asleep. The next morning, when my brother woke up, he noticed that 2 of the club members had already gone down the mountain, and there was only one left behind.
Oh,
He had fainted, and froth was coming out of his mouth.
Oh no.
He looked around in confusion, wondering what was going on. He saw something he could not believe. The cabin was surrounded by small windows. Well then, what the heck was there last night if what they thought were photo frames were actually windows?
People. The foot above my mom's
When I was a little girl, I was
that it?
scared of sleeping alone, so I used to sleep with my mom. Eventually, I had to toughen up and sleep by myself.
Baby, you look about 13, 14.
Well, this
Suck it
happened
up.
when I was in high school. I had a twin-sized bed in my room and decided to leave both my door and my mom's door open. Our bodies were facing opposite directions. I couldn't sleep that night, so I turned on my MP3 player and was laying in bed, listening to music. All of a sudden, I felt a little strange, so I turned my head around, and at that moment, I froze. I saw a person.
I just got the chills everywhere. That is not something normal that you see. So just imagine walking in to your loved one sleeping, or even just walking past the door or looking over like she looking over, and see some feet above her. What would you do? And then, how disrespectful is that? You couldn't stand by the side of the bed, but you gotta put your feet on my chest.
First of all, if someone gets too nervous, it's hard to look around clearly. However, I slowly looked up, and then I saw the face of the person standing on her body. Literally, someone was standing on my mom's body. Well, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. I wanted to turn my head around again, but I couldn't. I couldn't open my mouth or even listen to music anymore. I couldn't take my eyes off his face. His mouth was stretching and getting bigger and bigger until eventually it ripped right under his ear.
Ew.
I could see that the inside of his mouth was all red. I wanted to wake my mom up somehow, so I gathered up enough.
She has taken no action. Absolutely no action. Now, if it's a loved one, I'm about to go in there guns blazing. Guns blazing. I don't even care if I get injured or die. That's just how much I love my loved ones. But now, if I walk past and you somebody I don't know, or if I don't F with, where the bag at? Goodbye. But I can just imagine like adrenaline just raging to the point where I'm not leaving my mind there like that. She done sat there too long.
Enough courage as I could. Mom! As soon as I yelled, everything disappeared like smoke. She ran into my room, hugged me, and reassured me that everything was okay. I was leaning on her now so that I could calm down. Soon after, I put my earphones back in and turned on my MP3 player. And that moment was really crazy and just plain scary. All of my files were gone. I had around 300 songs on the device,
Girl, you don't
but all the songs
listening.
were erased for no reason. I couldn't sleep at all that night and still felt bad even after waking up the next morning, so I ended up breaking my MP3 player. Well, why did my music files disappear?
Bro, get out.
I used to wear a lot of wigs for my job.
Hey.
One day
what I
I
had on
needed a
today.
short bob cut wig, so I bought one and kept it at my house for a while. But then, something strange happened. The next day, my mom suddenly came into my room
Baby,
and
why you
said
looking like
this.
that?
Hey, why do you keep calling me? Huh? What are you talking about, Mom? I haven't called you once. I replied to her, but she insisted that she kept hearing my voice. It was kind of weird, but soon I ended up thinking that she was just hearing things or hallucinating. A few days later, while I was eating dinner with my mom and watching a TV drama, we heard a small voice. Mommy! What the? I stood up, and what made things scarier was the voice sounding exactly like mine. At first, I thought I misheard it, but I kept hearing the sound. I grabbed my mom's hand, and we followed the direction the sound was coming from. As I was getting closer to the shoe rack near the front door,
Got
I
a doppelganger
realized
out here?
the sound seemed to be coming from it.
We'll keep her outside.
It was at that moment. Mom! The loud sound in my ears surprised me so much that my heart almost dropped.
See,
Well,
that's you
eventually I
invading my
went back
space.
to my room and fell asleep, failing to reveal the cause of the sound. That night, I had a dream. In my dream, little girls were jumping rope and moving in slow motion, like in a horror movie. I couldn't see their faces because the children's faces were all blurry as if they were covered by fog. However, as soon as I tried to reach them, they looked at me at the same time. At that moment, I had no choice but to scream. Their
Why,
fronts and backs were all covered by a bob cut hairstyle.
That's ugly.
Well, I had the same dream for a few more days. My mom and I concluded that there was something wrong with the bob cut wig that I bought. Eventually, I burned the wig.
I wouldn't have thought about
And
that.
strangely
but you
enough,
just said it.
everything returned to normal after I burned the wig.
I gotta tell y'all a story. So, this is a story that I always tell. I'm gonna make it quick. So, I don't know if y'all remember the baby tumble dolls back in the day. I had one, she was black, you know, she had her melanin going. I took care of that thing like it was my own child. Like, I was probably about 5 or 6, taking care of this baby, trying to breastfeed her, trying to do all that stuff, taking her to the grocery store, getting some groceries, whatnot. That was my child. So we would have play dates all the time. Then this was, I had the worst nightmares about her. When I tell you the worst nightmares, so the one that I vividly remember is that my aunt was at the table cutting up some collard greens. I was like, I looked down the hallway and I saw an army of dolls. Toy Story is my favorite movie, right? My brother had a Toy Story doll. He had Woody and Buzz. While Woody was at the front, Woody was behind Baby Tumble. And they was like leading the whole army of toys to pull me into the darkness. So they start pulling my legs. I'm tugging on Aunt Lisa like, Lisa. You know those dreams where you scream but you don't hear nothing? I hate them dreams. But I'm screaming, Lisa. She ain't even hearing me. She still cutting collard greens, acting like I'm not even pulling on her. And they pulled me into the darkness. And I'm telling you, I would wake up screaming. I would wake up screaming to the top of my lungs like this. I'm talking about, I'd be straight down like this, like just screaming. And then my granny, she got tired of me having them nightmares. I was tired of having them too. Granny, I love Granny to death, but she got 2 solutions for everything. One solution is to take a laxative. The other solution is to burn it up. So she said, okay, let me get this doll. I'ma burn it up. She threw that thing in the fiery furnace. I ain't had no more nightmares ever since. Like, just like how she threw it in there right there. Threw it in there. I ain't had no more nightmares. I'm thinking something was in that doll. Some type of spirit. Something was in her. Because I'm like, bro, as soon as you got charred up and fried, you died to me. You done. I ain't had no more dreams. So yeah, that's my story. So when I saw that and heard that, I was like, okay, I had something similar. All right, guys, we gonna end it right there. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a good time. You know, I love scary stuff. It's Halloween. I'm in the spirit. So this is gonna be a continued situation on the channel. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if you like it. Even if you have suggestions of scary videos, like the scariest videos you ever seen, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and DM me that thing. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and send me the scariest video that you know and I will react to it. Like, it don't even have to be scary. It can just be freaky. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed this. I'll leave the links to all of those videos down below. And yeah, I ain't got nothing else. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn on post notifications. That way you don't miss anything that I upload. Sometimes YouTube be messing with that notification. So make sure you click all notifications. Because I don't want y'all to miss anything. Because I'm about to start doing some makeup looks too. So you don't want to miss them. Thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.
Perfect.